finally know the Eagles' opponent. Eagles versus Rams on Sunday, 3 o'clock down at the Link. Excited about the game. I'm excited about the opponent, and I feel extremely confident right now. And I think everybody in the city should feel confident as well. We'll talk to Barrett Brooks. You know he's always confident in the 4 o'clock hour. Let's get right to our word of the day. The word of the day today is opponent. Opponent. Because ultimately, it's about now, not for me, it's not really about the opponent the rest of the way. It's about the Eagles. Now, against the Packers, and I was on, Sunday, 9 a.m. to noon, and I thought as long as the Eagles didn't lay an egg, they're not going to lose. I think this is another case with the Rams. The Rams are not a better football team than the Packers. I understand that last night has people all freaked out and the recency bias and all that stuff. The Packers are a better football team top to bottom than the Rams are. The Rams just had a nice performance, but do not overreact. Look at their offense down the stretch and how many points they were actually scoring before yesterday when they got some turnovers. They're not that good. In fact, down the stretch, they did their best game offensively with Jimmy G at the quarterback instead of future Hall of Famer Stafford. The Eagles are the better football team. It is no longer about the opponents, all right? It's no longer about the opponent. It is about the Eagles, okay? And if they play well, they don't have to play great. And I know we all want better, and we should get better on Sunday. We should expect better. If they play in totality, when you add up the offense plus the defense, as well as they played against the Packers, they'll also beat the Rams. Now, if you want to say C- and A and however that averages out, what I'm saying is if you average out, offense, defense, special teams against the Rams, if you play the same in totality as you did against the Packers, you beat the Rams. Okay? Do not let last night's game throw you off because Ricky and I tried to warn you. Sam Darnold, it was always going to run out at some point. It was always going to run out at some point. There's a reason they drafted a quarterback in the first round who only didn't play because he got hurt in the preseason, had surgery, actually the same meniscus surgery as Jarrett McCain, and he was out for the season, and he missed the whole season. He will be their starter next year. He will be their starter next year. The Eagles, so don't not be fooled. The Packers are better than the Rams. The Vikings had a cute little season, but every time they were put under any kind of adversity, they choked, and I'm also questioning their head coach, who only got that job in the first place because he was buddies with the Rams head coach. If you're friends with McVay now, that's good enough to become a head coach in this NFL. It's been that rule. McDaniels down in Miami, just the friends of McVay, just everybody's friends. Okay, you saw what happened. The Eagles are the better team. What I want to hear from people today is some confidence because I got to tell you a story. I decided to bundle up and get outside this morning in the wind. I like to still be outside and try to get some air. I'm outside this morning. I see a nice guy, neighbor, watches the show. He's a kind guy. He's watching right now. He's a good guy. First thing he says to me, I had to take my AirPod out, my ear. He goes, Tyrone, the Rams are the better team. And I stopped. I usually never stop. Once I go, I go. I stopped and said, no, they're not. No, they're not. Okay, they're not the better team. The Eagles were better than them the last time, and they're better than them now. I don't know if Saquon Barkley's going to have 200-some yards again, but I know that they're better. And that's what we have to be recognizing around the city of Philadelphia today. It's not even a question. It's not a debate. I'm stating it as a fact, okay? I'm not debating that they're better. If you want to say the Rams can get lucky in one game, fine. The Eagles are better, and they're at home. Those are facts. And here's another thing. I know people were down on Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts did not play his best game. I recognize that. But if you watched Darnold last night, if you saw Herbert, you saw if you saw the mistakes that Baker Mayfield made, you see the difference in the quarterback level at this time of year. You have quarterbacks where they rely on him to win the game for them. You have quarterbacks where you have a good enough team and it's a collaboration. And then you have certain quarterbacks who cause you to lose. And that's what the Vikings had yesterday. They had a bad quarterback. If I'm telling you that they're going to win the game in large part because Jalen Hurts is not going to give the game to the Rams the way Darnold was giving the game. He was looking to there was the two turnovers, but it was about 3-4 almost turnovers to go with it. They were looking to drop the draws. Ricky Bo, the Eagles are the better team, and I feel great right now.
Eagles are a better all-around team, and I want you to think about this because I think there's a misconception here. I think when people look at the Rams, they think, wow, a high-powered offense. You brought something up, and I looked this up a lot today, and I was kind of looking up and down. They didn't score a lot of points. If you think about when they got good, they were 5-6 when they met the Eagles. They lost that game. They were 5-7. Then they scored 21 against the Saints. Terrible team at that point, the Saints were. They scored 44 against the Bills. That will be the only game that would impress you all the way down the list. 12, 19, 25 against the Seahawks, 13 against the Cardinals. This is not a team that is scoring a lot of points. No. Yeah, they did against I mean, you look at the Vikings, what are we really calling them? You knew Darnold was going to fall apart. You knew it was just a matter of time.
Yep.
Fell apart in the last week of the season, then fell apart in the playoffs. That's what you were going to get from that guy. And you knew the Rams were going to come out with a little bit more fight because of what was going on out there in L.A. They had that little extra edge, and they won the game. I look at it this way. If their defense is winning games, they got a problem going in against the Eagles.
Yep.
And the reason for that is, I mean, you're talking about Puka Nacua, you're talking about Cooper Kupp. Williams has been very good as a back for them.
4 yards a carry.
If you're not turning it up a notch offensively against an Eagles team, you're in deep poo-poo. And it's going to show. Eagles defense could stand up, and they may the Rams may score 14 at best? I mean, I'm just saying, that could happen in a game. And if you're telling me, if the Eagles give up 17 points, the game's over. They win the game. I don't see a path, especially them coming in from warm weather, coming in up here, cold weather, short week,
rain,
long flight, everything that's going behind them. They cannot come in here and conquer a game against the Eagles. They just can't. I know they have Matthew Stafford. I know what they have with their wide receivers. But you think about what Saquon Barkley did to him in the last game. 255 yards on the game. If he does half of that, the Eagles win.
Completely agree. 610-632-0975. Word of the day is opponent, because we're now at the point where the Rams is not an opponent. They are not an opponent that should scare you. That should scare. It's about the Eagles. The Eagles show up. They handle their business. Boom. They win. The Rams have no path, like you just said, Ricky Bo. We're going to talk about it. I'm not debating who's better. I'm not going to overreact to one game either. We'll talk about it today here on 97.5 The Fanatic, NBC Sports, Philadelphia. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. Really appreciate it. If you want more of this content, make sure you like and subscribe. And you can do that kind of over here if you want more of the best show ever.